Let me ask you something. Have you ever walked out of a meeting or a conversation with your boss or just a regular chat with someone in authority? Then after the conversation or the meeting, you think for yourself like, why didn't I really say what I wanted to say? Why did I just nod along even though I really wasn't speaking my truth? Why didn't I just speak up? Or even worse, why did I go silent? And don't worry, you're not dramatic, you're not weak, you're just being simply a human. And here's actually what's happening. Your body is learned to be in a survival mode around authority, maybe from your childhood, maybe from the elementary school, high school. In any point of your life, you could have been conditioned or learned that being around authority isn't safe. And your body stores it. Your body has this memory. And so, even though being around authority isn't that dangerous most of the time, your body reads it as a threat because it has been previously exposed to some experiences that are threatening for you in any way. Meaning, you could have been ashamed, you could have been embarrassed, you could have been just talked down, you could have been yelled at. And in situations like this, your body remembers everything. And so the next time you see any authority, you go into this survival mode. And so you become this shrinking speaker. You're over polite, apologizing for everything, softening your sentences with filler words, with words like, I think, I'm sorry, I just want, Or sometimes you hit a complete silent freeze. Maybe in the work you run out of safe topics. So talking about something new feels too threatening or feels too dangerous because you could have been ashamed, you could have been embarrassed. Maybe it is also because of the characteristics of the authority. If you feel like you're this mold that needs to be flexible and that you are people pleasing everyone you meet that is in authority and you're nodding along the way, and on the meeting you also nod along or you stay silent even though you don't really agree with something, and then you go, for example, on a toilet and you look into the mirror and you are like, why are you like this? Why don't you just speak up? Why don't you just say the idea? And doesn't matter if you find yourself being the shrinking speaker or being completely silent. In both these situations, you're abandoning the most important person in your life, and that is you, the true, authentic you. But if you keep engaging in this behavior, if you keep shrinking, you teach yourself and others as well that you can be trusted to hold your own opinion. And when you go silent, you teach yourself that your voice has no place at the table. And when you over apologize, you quietly tell yourself as well to the room that your thoughts, your opinions have less value. And the worst part is that once you walk away, you're not only invisible, but you're also becoming disconnected from who you really are. And this is the heartbreak of high achievers. On the paper, you've made it, but in reality, inside yourself, you feel like a stranger to yourself. But don't worry, you can change it. Everything is temporary, and if you decide to change it, well, this thing has no other option but to change itself because you said so. And if you also take a little bit of courage, take the action, you might be surprised of how big change you can make in not only half a year, but just in 1 month. Let me tell you something that will change the way you walk, talk, and behave around authority. You don't need to become louder, more rebellious, more aggressive type of person around authority just to claim your space. That would be behaving from the place of lack and from the place of being too self-conscious and not being really rooted within yourself. What you really need to do is to take small steps, being anchored within your body, speak a micro-truth, be direct and human in small doses every single day. This little exercise you can practice basically anywhere because to others it's invisible, and it's made up of 6 little steps that are going to make this complex progress in your life. So let's break it down. So let's imagine that you are on a meeting and there is, for example, a meeting, there's a lot of authority out there, a lot of people that you respect, but sometimes you respect with this feeling like a less valuable person type of respect. And so you tend to people please, you tend to stay silent. Listen, you're going to put all of this stuff that is not true, by the way, away. You're going to anchor. You're going to do this little tiny subtle thing that no one else is going to really notice. Once you are going to be speaking, or once you are going to get ready to speak, you can do this, or just before the meeting, you're going to do this, or you can tap on some of these points of the body. It is from the tapping technique, but also this helps to calm the nervous system. And you can literally be on whatever, toilet, whatever. No one will freaking see you, don't worry. And you're going to be tapping, or you can just simply touch your ring, touch your bracelet, anything that you don't do usually. But now it will become this sacred action that you're going to do before you're going to speak the micro truth. And also, while you're going to touch the anchor, you're going to say, I'm safe, I'm allowed to take space here. And you're going to say it as many times as you need to. And so this is the anchor part. You have something to hold on. You have something to come back to. What you're also going to be able to come back to is the second part of this little exercise, and that's breath. Breath is your fuel. Breath is also a tool how to calm your nervous system, not only by doing this, once you feel like you are starting to ramble a little, or you just start to apologize, start to use these filling words even during the speech, you will just pause and you will take a big breath, breathing into your belly. If you can, try to breathe also into your back, because there's also space to breathe in. Or here, I don't know if you can see this, but here, oh my goodness, you can also breathe here. The more space you breathe in, the more space you will take, and the more you will calm down, because the more oxygen your body will get. And what I recommend, this is what I believe Tony Robbins is using. It's a breathing technique. It's ridiculous how simple is that. But you're simply going to breathe normally as you would, but try to always breathe into your belly if it's meant to calm your nervous system. However, you're going to breathe like, and then once you feel like you're on top of your breath, you're going to breathe a little bit more like this, and then you will slowly exhale. This combination with the anchor is going to be like this moment of pause, of centering, and you are going to be like resetting yourself and coming back to yourself. And this increases the mindfulness, and the self-awareness. And also the peace and calmness within you. Because the third thing that you're gonna do is to speak that micro truth. Why it's micro? Because it doesn't have to be this extraordinary, groundbreaking fact that you're gonna just put on the table at the meeting. You can simply say, well, that's an interesting point. I think that, and you're going to say maybe 2 sentences. And then maybe you will catch the flow and become more interactive. But you just need to break that wall. And breaking the wall simply sometimes means that you just need to speak just a little tiny sentence, simple as it sounds. Just by simply saying this tiny truth, not only you will get better and better and speaking more and more naturally in front of the authority and in front of everyone in the room. Mind that we as humans, we always see ourselves, what we do, and we always evaluate what we do, but we don't really think about it. And so if you stay silent, your brain basically evaluates that you are a silent person and that your voice doesn't belong to this table. And so you reinforce the habit of being silent. However, by taking this small step, your brain will see it. And your brain will be like, we've been silent until now, but maybe I should. Okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna pay attention. And what are we doing? We're speaking. Okay. So we're expressing ourselves. Okay. So now I'm going to add to being around authority the fact that being around authority is also connected with self-expression and not self-abandonment. Because until then, once all along we were silent, we were abandoning ourselves if we thought something and we haven't said it. However, if we now think something and raise our hands and speak it out loud, our brain will encode this as, okay, so we are courageous now. So we are courageous now. Okay, if we do it every day, I will remember us as being courageous and being self-expressive no matter who is around me. This is how brain and you basically work. Imagine that you would be watching your friends, and your friend would be this timid person that doesn't speak. What would you think? How would you describe him? Well, as a timid person who doesn't speak. It's very simple. Once he would speak up, you would be like, okay, he's expressing himself like, and he doesn't really care who is around him, but he really speaks his mind respectfully, and yeah, he always makes somewhat his point, even though sometimes he doesn't really get to the point as clearly as we would all love, but he just speaks his truth, and I feel like that's okay and it's inspirative. This is what the brain does and what we us do to ourselves. We also see ourselves as we do stuff and we think about ourselves something. And by taking more action, we're going to think as we would think about our friend. We're going to think about ourselves more highly, more courageously, more expressively, because we just simply took the action. With speaking the micro truth, you want to be direct. As I was already mentioning, no softeners, no filler words. This takes a little bit of practice, but it's extremely worth it. Trust me in this. Just listen to me. If I say, hi, do you have a minute? I just think that I was thinking about that we would do, or, hey, do you have a minute? I think we would do this. It speaks confidence, and the authority is also just a person. And he also, or she also, can sense if someone is confident in front of them or not. And therefore, with confidence, there comes this sense of responsibility and this sense of being accountable. And so they will also take you a little bit more seriously if you speak directly. Now, if you hit the wall, if you hit the silence, don't be scared to jump a little further out of this box of work talk. This doesn't have to be about work only. Or it can be, but it can be also about feelings about the work. You can also say like, okay, and what has been the highlight so far from this project? And if the person on the other side that will be receiving your question will feel or will act like you're embarrassing, let him or let her. Let them think whatever they want to think, because this also speaks something about them. And now we see the person as not really being the authority, but rather as someone who is somewhat limited. Because you now see that if you speak with the good intention and the person on the other side can feel the intention, if he is also good and open-minded, there shouldn't be really this embarrassing moment. There might be also a person that is full of complexes, that has so many problems, and that his confidence is so low that he would rather make you feel uncomfortable rather than really just answering the question and having fun in the conversation. You don't have to, especially to these kind of people, evaluate your worth from their reactions. And if you have good intentions, your worth will never decrease, no matter the reaction of the other person that is receiving any of your questions. And if the reaction will be, from his point, unwelcoming, don't beat yourself up for that. Be proud, because you have stepped out of your comfort zone. You know what is your comfort zone. You know the feeling when you go out of your comfort zone. Never, never, ever beat yourself up for saying something with good intention. You can simply prepare. Prepare like 5 topics that you're going to be speaking if you will hit the wall. Who will judge you? No one else than you know that you've prepared something. So let's just do it. You don't have to tell anyone. Just prepare 5 topics. Don't be ashamed that you're preparing 5 topics, first of all. There is no shame in trying, in the effort of being better. And by preparing, you're letting yourself know, you're letting the life know that you want to be better, because that's what you're preparing for. You want to be better in your conversations. So don't ever get ashamed, even though that no one is watching and you would be like, what am I doing? Do it. Prepare. And also don't forget to remember their names, to say their name always, to just keep the eye contact and watch what will happen. And the last point, celebrate. Celebrate your little tiny wins. Just don't focus on stuff that you felt embarrassed of. Completely like put it away. It's never going to help you in anything. What will help you is to maybe take a look at it and feel like, okay, so with no emotions, analyze your space where you could have been better. So analyze it, evaluate, say what you will do next time, and forget about it. And do it every single day, alongside with celebrating your tiny steps, your micro truths, your successful anchoring, your breathing. Celebrate it. and watch how beautifully you are about to change. You don't have to become someone new, someone you're not. In fact, you are doing it right now. You are acting like someone who's not really you in true life, in your head. Remember the anchor, say the micro truth, and show up. And this is what makes you magnetic and unforgettable. So here's what to do this week. Pick your anchor, something small, subtle. Practice the breathing. Choose the micro truth. And if you have to, prepare some topics outside of your box of normal topics. And also drop one softener, such as sorry, maybe, stuff like that, in order to be more respected. You want to be more direct. So try to get rid of one softener that you are using often. If you need to analyze it, just record yourself and imagine that you're speaking to someone, you know, some kind of authority, and that you're explaining one topic. It doesn't have to have 1 hour. It could have had just 5 minutes. And then analyze it and pick that one word that you hear again and again and again. And when the silence comes, it's just the life. We're just humans. Don't panic. Don't take yourself that seriously. It's not really that serious. And just analyze it with no emotions. Celebrate the little wins. And show up again, again, and again. And eventually, you will be surprised how far you can go if you decide to go. If this spoke to you, share it with someone. Share it with someone you feel like this would be helpful to him or her. We're done shrinking. We're done silencing our truth. We're done apologizing for our existence. We're done trading our authenticity for approval. You are allowed to be yourself, even in a room full of authorities. I hope that you have an amazing week. Hope to see you soon. Drop down a comment of what little micro truth you're going to pick or you are going to say the next time you speak to an authority, or what kind of topic you're going to prepare. Because we can inspire each other and we can build this community of people that are no longer afraid of speaking their truths, no matter who's around them. Stay awesome, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.